Okay, so you want to own a vending machine business. You've seen the pitch 100 times online by now. Buy a few machines, drop them in busy locations, and let them print money while you sleep. No employees, no rent on a storefront, no landlord breathing down your neck. Just a glowing box that takes people's money and gives them a snack. It's one of the most heavily advertised passive income ideas on the internet right now. And on paper, the math looks almost too easy. Here's the problem. The Federal Trade Commission has spent over 2 decades shutting down vending machine business opportunities for promising exactly this, on paper, and almost never delivering it in real life. So what's actually going on? Here's the idea that explains almost everything else in this video. Owning a vending machine isn't really a snack business. It's a real estate business for about 6 square feet of someone else's floor, and the machine is just the device that collects the rent. The shape of the business. There are a few real formats here. Bulk vending machines, the simple gumball and toy kind, sit at the very bottom, often just a few $100s each and requiring almost no restocking skill. Standard snack and beverage machines run $3,000 to $5,500 new, though refurbished units, which most first-time operators choose, cost 40 to 60% less. Combo machines that handle both snacks and drinks in one unit climb to $5,000 to $15,000 depending on capacity and features. And modern smart machines, with cashless payment, remote inventory tracking, and touchscreen displays, run $6,000 to $15,000 or more. This video is about the format most people actually picture when they hear vending machine business, a small fleet of standard snack and beverage machines. What it costs to open the door. A single machine, including initial inventory, insurance, and a placement fee to secure a location, typically runs $5,000 to $8,000 all in. That's the appealing part of the pitch. Compare that to the hundreds of thousands of dollars a coffee shop or car wash needs before opening the door, and vending genuinely looks like the cheapest way into small business ownership by a wide margin. Return on investment for a single well-placed machine can land in as little as 18 months, which is a real and honest number, not a fabricated one. But here's the part almost nobody in the ads budgets for honestly. One machine doesn't build a business or an income. Industry estimates suggest most operators need somewhere between 20 and 50 machines to reach $100,000 a year in income, since a single unit typically nets only $200 to $800 a month in profit, climbing to maybe $1,500 in an exceptional location. Multiply the per machine startup cost by 20 or 30 machines, and the low barrier to entry pitch quietly turns into a $150,000 to $400,000 fleet to acquire and manage, landing in the same range as opening an actual storefront business, just spread across dozens of tiny locations instead of one big one. The number that runs this whole business. Gross margins on the products themselves look fantastic on their own. A candy bar that costs 45 cents and sells for $1 is a 55% margin, but that number never survives contact with the real business underneath it, a location commission. The cut paid to whoever owns the building your machine sits inside typically runs 5 to 15% of gross sales. Card payment processing eats another 2 to 4% on every tap-to-pay transaction. Then there's the real cost of the fuel and the hours spent physically driving to each machine, restocking it, and emptying the cash box, plus a maintenance reserve set aside for the inevitable jammed coil or broken bill acceptor. Once all of that is subtracted, industry-wide net margins settle around 20 to 35%, and a machine's true monthly profit output depends almost entirely on one variable that has nothing to do with the snacks sitting inside it. How many people walk past it every single day? The location lottery. This is the part that quietly turns passive income into something closer to a part-time logistics job. The exact same machine, stocked with the exact same candy bars at the exact same prices, can earn $75 a month sitting in a quiet break room, or $7,500 a month sitting in a packed factory floor or airport terminal. Nothing about the machine changed between those two outcomes, only the foot traffic did. And because location commissions are negotiated one building at a time, a brand new operator with no track record and no leverage often accepts worse terms just to get a machine placed anywhere at all, locking in a thinner margin for the entire life of that placement, sometimes years. The part nobody puts in the ad. Every glossy passive income pitch quietly skips the maintenance side of this business. Machines jam, bill acceptors get finicky and reject perfectly good cash, sending customers away annoyed and empty-handed. Coin mechanisms clog with debris. And because a vending machine sits alone, unattended, for hours or days at a time, it's also an easy easy, low-risk target. Theft, vandalism, and coinbox break-ins are a real and recurring cost that never once appears in the buy 5 machines and retire advertisements. None of this is catastrophic by itself. It's simply the maintenance and route-driving labor that the word passive was never honestly supposed to include in the first place. The legal layer, and where the real trouble is. Here's where this business has a genuinely unusual risk compared to almost anything else in this series. The sales pitch itself is regulated, because so many people selling vending machine business opportunities have been caught lying about it, repeatedly, for over 20 years. Starting in the early 2000s, the FTC ran a series of enforcement sweeps, one nicknamed Project Busted Opportunity, specifically targeting vending machine sellers for false earnings claims. In one case, a company called Manhattan Vending advertised established routes in newspaper classifieds nationwide, promising that a $1,500 investment in a vending machine would generate approximately $5,300 in profit a year, a return of well over 300%. The FTC alleged the claim was false on its face, and that while some investors received their machines late, others never received one at all. In a separate New York case around the same period, a seller named Evan Blumstein sold vending packages priced between $7,995 and $20,000, promising buyers they could net $50,000 a year by running what he described as 4 separate income streams off a single candy machine. According to the FTC's complaint, most buyers actually earned little or no income from the opportunity at all. A federal court eventually entered a judgment of more than $4 million against the operators behind that scheme, and Blumstein himself was permanently banned from ever selling a vending machine business opportunity again. This isn't ancient history confined to the early 2000s either. The FTC has continued bringing business opportunity fraud cases built on the exact same playbook. Inflated earnings claims sold to people looking for an easy, hands-off path into ownership, right up through the past 2 years. Breaking even, in plain numbers. Say you buy 5 machines for $30,000 total. Spread across decent but unremarkable locations, you found yourself rather than bought as a package. If each nets an average of $400 a month, that's $2,000 a month, or $24,000 a year, a payback period of about 15 months, which actually lines up with the honest end of the industry's own estimates. Scale that same fleet to 25 machines, and you're looking at $120,000 a year in gross vending income, if every single location performs at that same average. But locations are never uniform. A few will quietly underperform. A few machines will need expensive repairs in the same bad month, and 1 or 2, statistically, will get broken into at some point. The spreadsheet version of this business assumes identical machines in identical locations. The real version is 25 completely different micro-businesses stitched together, each one only ever as good as the 6 square feet of floor it happens to be standing on. 2 years, same fleet. In the good year, locations were chosen carefully using real foot traffic counts instead of guesswork. Commissions were negotiated fairly instead of desperately. Restocking runs stayed on a tight weekly schedule, and theft stayed rare. On a 25-machine fleet generating $120,000 in gross vending revenue, a healthy 30% net margin puts about $36,000 in the owner's pocket for the year, on top of whatever else they do with the rest of their time, since a well-run fleet this size can realistically operate as a serious side business rather than a full-time job. In the realistic year, nothing dramatic happens at first. 2 locations quietly lose foot traffic when a nearby office downsizes, and fewer people walk the hallway past the machine. 1 property manager renegotiates the commission upward at contract renewal, because they can. A machine gets its coin box pried open twice in one winter. Restocking runs slip from weekly to every 10 days because the route quietly grew larger than one person could comfortably manage alone, and a few machines sit empty just long enough to lose regular customers to whichever machine is down the hall. None of it makes headlines, and none of it looks like a crisis from any single location. But margin compresses from 30% down to somewhere around 15% on that same $120,000 in revenue, and the owner's take-home falls to around $18,000 for the year, a gap of $18,000 from the exact same 25 machines, selling the exact same candy bars, in a business that was marketed from the very beginning as requiring no ongoing work at all. That's the business. The snack was never the product. The 6 square feet of floor space you're renting, and the honesty of whoever sold you the idea to rent it, are.